Can I say one more word? Anybody here have roots in Holland? Hands up. Anybody Dutch here?
Yeah, Harry over there.
Well, in World War II, you know, Holland took a part of the ship taking. And the 5th of May 1945, General Crerar, leading the Canadian forces, led the way through to take Holland back from being under the control of the Nazis. And I was one of the guys who was lucky to get into the Air Force and get free flying because I only had like $2 for 20 minutes on a gypsy moth before I joined. But on the squadron, when we started to operate over Europe, we had what they called a nursery trip. And that's where you sneak over into enemy territory and just get the hell back out, you know, and know that that's all there is to going and coming out of when you're doing operations. So we did 50 operations over Europe and, you know, so forth. And our first trip, our nursery trip, was to go over and do a circuit around the perimeter of the Zyder Z. And that's what I did. And we have a photograph before we did that trip. And it just felt so good. So that set us up for going in to do the other stuff. And I had a letter just the other day from the Dutch people celebrating the liberation of Holland in 1945, I think it was May. And it was one of the people who was instrumental in making that happen was a Canadian General Crerar who led the Canadian troops through to free Holland. General Crerar was kind of a bigwig, lived about 5 houses from where I grew up, but I never knew him. But he's a guy, Crerar, who really got the credit for leading the forces that brought the freedom to Holland. So, Marion says I've had enough. So anyway, just to let you know, I'm responding to a letter I received from a Dutch school kid about thanking me on behalf of the Dutch people for that liberation. And frankly, you know, on an ocean liner, what's the most important part of an ocean liner? How about the lifeboat? Holland was our lifeboat. If we were over Europe, and we were over there about 50 times, we tried our damnedest. If we're in trouble or got damaged, at least to get over Holland before we jumped out. And you guys would take us and get us back to our squadron. So that's how it all happened, and I'm just writing to them today and thanking her for a nice letter. And to say that although I knew General Crerar by name, he was far too important a person for me to know because I was just about 14 or 15 when we lived just a few houses apart. But I want to thank all of the people from Holland for being there when my navigator Paul Godet and I were in trouble a few times. And to go over there for our first trip, we came back and the next morning we got next to YPN, our mosquito, and got photographed beside it. Then I went to the other airplane, YPE was another mosquito, in which we did our 50th trip. So I have a picture of the 50th trip when we finished the tour, and our nursery trip before we started. So thank you from all of us to God bless you, Holland folks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, George.